You know, over the years, I've heard many people say, oh, Tony just doesn't like any anime that has incest in it. He'll never like an incest anime, guys. Are you sure about that? Hey guys, the Black Critic Guy. And oh boy. Today is quite the monumental day for this channel, as I'm about to do a legit review, not an angry rant, on an incest anime called Kaze, or Love Wind in English. I honestly never thought I would ever see this day. Now, Kaze begins with 27-year-old Kosho, who recently got dumped by his girlfriend of 2 years. And while he was on a train, he helps retrieve the wallet of a young high school girl named Nanoka. And on the very same day after leaving work, he bumps into her again, and the two end up going to an amusement park together, where they open up to each other about their failed romances, and through this experience, they share a very intimate and brief emotional connection with each other. As they leave the park, thinking that they'll never see each other again, Koshiro's father shows up suddenly and tells him that that girl he's with is in fact, drumroll please, his sister, which comes as a complete shock to both of them. And from here, things get pretty awkward as they start living together and struggle with their growing feelings for each other. Now, many of you longtime followers know that I do not particularly have the highest opinion when it comes to incest in anime. I mean, just some of the situations that he would get into with his sisters, and they would just be touching each other and so technically, they're not blood related. So that means it must be okay for them to form a romance. It must be okay for them to have a relationship. And it must be a-okay for them to have sex. Right? Right? Fuck you, anime. No, that still doesn't make it alright. Nice try. But that's not gonna fly by me. And to be quite honest, after 7 years of making reviews here on YouTube, and the countless upon countless upon countless of incest anime bullshit that I've had to endure, I started losing hope, guys. Hope that I would ever find an incest anime that is worthy of praise and worth seeing. But then I remembered, about 2 years ago, I made a video discussing my opinions about incest in anime, and in that video I said that incest in anime can be done right if they tackle it in a much more serious and thought-provoking manner. And the anime that I used as an example of this was Kaze. Interestingly enough, though I did say a lot of positive things about this anime, I had yet to watch it. I had no real reason why. I probably was just busy with other reviews and videos I had to do for my channel. Maybe my life was pretty hectic. I mean, I was still in college at that time. Point is, I didn't find the time to sit and watch Kaze and see if it was worthy of all the praises I gave in my food for thought. But here I am, 2 years after making that video, and I decide, you know what? I've been pretty mean to incest anime lately. I mean, every time I do a bullshit month, the first target is always an incest anime. So I said, you know what, maybe I should watch an incest anime that is actually good, like one that actually has a lot to say. And the first thing that came to my mind is, let me watch Kaze and see if it's actually good. And so here we are with the review of Kaze. And what did I think about it? Well, let's get into it. Now, I can't give much praise to the animation here, as it was pretty blah. But what I can give praise to is the gorgeous artwork done for the anime, giving off a very warm, gentle, inviting feel, as a romance anime should. The music here truly complements the artwork, with its soft melodies by its string orchestra and the sweet and tender vocals of their singers. I must say, the music in this anime truly struck a chord with me. Get it? Because it's, oh my god, no! Do not ruin this good review with your corny ass puns. We had enough of that with the last review. Another excellent element is the voice acting. my god, it is top notch. Grade A voice acting from the entire cast. They are all able to convey so much emotion through their performances.
君の中にあるその気持ちは絶対に大切にした方がいい。あれ？なんでこんな。
But now comes the heavy hitters, the story and the characters. How are they in this anime? Because if there's one element that most incest anime fail at, it's the two most important ones, the story and the characters. Well, I am very happy to say that they not only nailed the story and characters, but they went above and beyond. They actually created something great with these two elements. This anime, without question, has the best story regarding incest I've ever seen. Really diving into it, giving us a lot of insight and analyzing the conflicting emotions that surround this touchy subject. It is superb. My main gripe when it comes to the stories of incest anime are threefold. First, they tell an incest story just for the sake of telling an incest story and nothing more. They don't say anything interesting or unique. They don't add anything new to the table and provide some new insight. No, they just do incest because it's such a sensitive, taboo, controversial subject that's sure to turn some people's heads and to pique their curiosity and to hide the fact that their story is nothing but a forgettable, bland piece of shit. Secondly, they tack on these forced romantic relationships between siblings even though they have already established that they have been in a sibling relationship for most of their lives. You can't just all of a sudden change the dynamic of a relationship just because you want them to end up with each other. It doesn't work like that. You have to build the relationship up. And since you already established a relationship between them, you can't just all of a sudden pull a 180 and say, no, they don't have a sibling relationship, it's a romantic one now. It doesn't work that way. And third, and worst of all, they always make these relationships of a sexual nature. The brother and sister have to have sex with each other. That's the main reason, that's the main focus. It's not to explore an emotional connection between them that they couldn't feel with other people. No, we just want the brother's dick to go into the sister's pussy. That's the only reason. That's why we're here. But fortunately, Kaze avoids all of those terrible stereotypes and goes above and beyond to fix all of those issues. First, the anime is not just incest for the sake of having incest. They're actually trying to say something more deeper, profound, and complex with its story. Secondly, the romance does not come off as tacked on or forced. It actually progresses naturally. Not to mention that these two had never had a sibling relationship prior to their meeting. The relationship that they established when they first met was that of an emotional connection, almost on the line of romantic. And third and lastly, their relationship is not based solely on sex. It's not about sexual desires. It's not based on a sexual nature. It's actually an emotional one. They built an emotional connection with each other. Yeah, sure, there is some yearning and some lust here and there in the anime, but mostly its focus is on the emotional aspect of their relationship, not the sexual aspect. One last thing regarding the story that truly made it stand out to me is how they would ask so many existential, thought-provoking questions throughout. Mainly, what does it mean to love somebody? What does it mean to fully give yourself to another person? This actually made me sit and think about the definition of love and what it means to other people. And rarely do anime ever make me think on an existential level what love could mean and what does it mean to give yourself to another person. That was phenomenal. That was outstanding. I did not expect the anime to ask such important and crucial questions. I mean, this anime will have you thinking by its end, for sure. At the end of the day, even though this anime does touch upon many taboo subjects, it's all about the execution of it all. And the execution was handled excellently, with so much care and respect to what they were trying to say. And honestly, I kind of admired them for that. And finally, the characters. They were well developed and quite fascinating. What I love so much about them is that we were given a lot of introspectives on these characters, learning what makes them tick and the struggles that they deal with. At first glance, the main character Kosho does seem like a very apathetic character who could care less about anybody around him, which doesn't do much to help his case in the long run, as the character does commit a lot of reprehensible, disgusting, and mean things throughout the series that would make any sane person question as to why we should ever care for this character. Why should we root for him? Why should we like him? What makes him so sympathetic? He's just a deplorable asshole, right? But that's the beauty of Kaze. They easily could have painted this character as a one-note, one-dimensional creep, but they add so many layers to his character and actually show you the reasoning behind his actions. He acts like an asshole as a defense to block his feelings for his sister. He wants to distance himself so much from her that he tries to be mean and cruel to push her away. But it's all a facade. That's all it truly is. I mean, yeah, sure, he still does that one deplorable thing that I personally was like, that was just going too far. But that too has some explanation to it. And the character admits that most of his actions are deplorable. He doesn't excuse them. He never tries to find a reason as to why it's okay. He too feels ashamed. He feels embarrassed. He feels guilty. I mean, if the character was just like, yeah, I did that, so what? Like in most incest anime, then I would have hated the character. But no, he actually shows remorse for his actions and he tries to make up for it. That right there makes him a far more dynamic and likable character than any of the other characters featured in an incest anime. To put it bluntly, Kosho understands that what he's doing is wrong. He says as much in the anime itself. He knows that his feelings for Nanoka are deemed inappropriate and will never be accepted under the eyes of society. But he just can't ignore or escape these feelings no matter how hard he tries. And trust me guys, he tries his damnedest. But no matter how many fronts he puts up, no matter how distant or how much he treats his sister like shit, no matter how far he goes, the feelings always come back to him. They're unavoidable. And in that sense, it makes this character very relatable. Not the whole loving your sister part, but having feelings that you just can't ignore and you just can't escape. We all have had those feelings at one point or another. And the whole internal struggle that this character deals with constantly throughout the anime is what makes him so great and multi-layered. Nanoka isn't so different either, but the way that they handle the character is. At first, she does try to build and establish a sibling relationship with Kosho. She tries to be the supportive, kind, caring, helpful little sister that's always there for him and cooking him food and cleaning his room. All the nice stuff that a little sister would try to do to kind of get along with her big brother. But even that too is a facade. It's her trying to fit into that whole idea of what a good sister is supposed to be. And this facade is a defense mechanism for her to hide her true feelings. But as the anime progresses, so does the character of Nanoka. She comes to realize that she doesn't have to put on this facade anymore. She comes out of her shell, out of her comfort zone, and faces her demons head on, realizing that she can't ignore or even escape her feelings. She has to embrace them. She has to accept them and go full throttle no matter what other people think or say. And to be honest, I really respected that of the character. I may not like what she's doing, but I do respect people who can be honest with themselves and say, hey, this is how I truly feel, and I'm not going to listen to what anyone else says. This is what I want to do with my life. But I can't ignore the throbbing in the back of my head because it's an incestuous relationship and she's underage. I mean, it just doesn't feel right. But it's handled so well! And speaking of things that were done well, the relationship and romance between Kosho and Nanoka. Very well executed, and I felt undeniable chemistry between them. Now at first it starts off very tumultuous and cold, especially the way that Kosho treats Nanoka, but we all know why he did that. But as time goes on, it gets developed and becomes... I can't believe I'm about to say this about an incestuous relationship, but here it goes. A very sweet and touching romantic relationship that I found myself actually caring for. Now, I have not been one to root for incestuous relationships, but they handled this one with such grace, reverence, care, and most importantly, compassion that it appealed to the romance lover in me, and I couldn't deny how much I really enjoyed it. The side characters weren't half bad either. They served their purpose well, and they also added some levity and new perspectives. One standout character that I really enjoyed was Chidori, a friend of Kosho. And I really liked this character not only because she was a really good friend and a down-to-earth girl with Kosho, but she'd be the person that I would be if ever I was in a situation or a scenario much like the one that's presented in Kaze. She kept it real, and she's the one that was kind of like the voice of reason, saying this isn't the right thing to do, think about what you're doing. I really like that character. Not only that, but by the end of it all, she kind of gains a little bit of a new perspective, and I do like the way that they ended her part of the story. I think that it was very realistic to a certain degree. And if I'm to be completely honest with you guys, my god, I can't believe I'm about to say this about an incest anime. I'm as shocked about this as you guys will probably be. I did not find any major glaring issues with Kaze. Yeah, you heard me right. Yeah, sure, there are some nuisances and irritations here and there, but nothing that truly detracts from the story and the characters. A few of those irritations were I wish they could have focused a bit more on Nanoka's friends, particularly their romances and relationships. They do touch upon it in one episode, but then that's it. They never explored ever again. And the reason I wish they could have explored this more is it would have been a very interesting direction to take to show Nanoka what a high school relationship is like compared to having a relationship with your older brother. This could have caused some strife and some conflict, some inner turmoil for Nanoka's character, wondering whether or not she can have a normal relationship compared to having a relationship with her brother. Another irritation I had was with this character, Onigiri, one of Koshiro's co-workers and a guy that's obsessed with being in a relationship with a high school girl for some reason. He's supposed to be the comic relief of the show, but I never found any of his antics funny. He just came off as really annoying, and I didn't want to see much of him. Fortunately enough, the anime downplays him heavily as the series goes on. He only makes a handful of appearances, which completely surprised me because a character like him would be shown prevalently in animes like this, but no, he's very much downplayed. They push him to the wayside. I was like, thank you so much. That was the wisest decision you could possibly make for this anime. Good job. And the last irritation is that the anime does have a slow pace to it. So if you don't like slow paced anime, you probably might not enjoy this one, and I recommend just skipping it. But for me, I actually never felt like the pace was all that slow. Yeah, sure, there are scenes that do stretch on for far too long, but these scenes actually had some visual storytelling going on in them if you paid close attention, because you could sense the tension in the air, all the emotions swirling around in the scene, and it actually had a lot to say, building some character, building some moments, and actually expressing some of the conflicts that these characters had, and I thought that was brilliantly executed. Overall, I would say that Kaze was exactly the anime that I said it was all those years ago, but that would be incorrect, as it surpassed even my own expectations. It is incredibly rare to see an anime with such nuance to it, addressing the taboo and controversial topic of incest in such an intelligent, honest, and mature way. Crafting a story that's both engaging and thought-provoking, and presenting characters with such emotion, compassion, and humanity. Kaze is a shining example of what an incest anime could be if you put the time, the effort, and the dedication that it needs. It's a true gem of an anime, and it truly deserves a 5 out of 5 stars. It is an epic masterpiece. Bet you guys didn't see that one coming, did ya? But now that I've completely blown your brains out, I would love to know what you guys thought about Kaze if you have seen it. Did you love it to death? Do you think it's the best incest anime ever made and you freaking adored it as much as I did? Or it's probably boring and dull, slow paced, and you didn't care about the relationship no matter how well they developed it? And let me know, what is an anime that touches on a very sensitive topic very well? Comment below, let me know. I'm still surprised that I gave an incest anime a 5 out of 5 stars. I truly did not think that this day would ever come, but I saw Kaze, I guess. Stay tuned, guys. More videos are on their way. And if you would like to support the Black Critic Guy just a bit more, why not donate to my Patreon account? Link is in the description. And if you'd like to send me some fan letters or fan art, send it to this P.O. box right here. I check it every Thursday, and if ever I get mail, I make a video showcasing all of the fan letters and fan art that I got. Hopefully, this Thursday I got some more mail and I'll make you guys another video. So until then, guys, if you'd like to see more videos on this channel, be a part of the Black Critic Crew, please hit that subscribe button below, like this video if you really enjoyed it, and I'm Tony Watt II, still can't believe that I actually praised an incest anime as the Black Critic Guy. Till then, peace, YouTube!